What's going on, everybody? I'm KDog618 and I am back playing Hooked on You. Time to get with these hoes, am I right? I don't remember her name. The one that appears like right here. Once everyone has gathered at the fire pit, Dwight and Claudette quickly make an announcement. We're not going to blame anyone in particular, but someone, and we're not going to say who, so don't worry, hasn't been sticking to the schedule. That means we're behind on time for evening activities, and we'll only have time for one person to share their special spooky nighttime story. Just one story, but story time is my favorite activity. This is a narrative-heavy experience. You're telling us that only one person gets to share? How will we decide who? Oh, great. We have to... Her, Spirit. Oh, great. We have to decide as a group? That never goes well. Whoever did this, step up now. I swear I won't be angry. I'll merely chop your head clean off. No fuss, no muss. Voice trembling, you realize that this is probably it for you, but you embrace your fate. Sorry, everyone, I think they're talking about me. To be honest, I still don't understand. I just realized her leg is chopped. I think they're talking about me. To be honest, I still don't understand how this whole schedule thing works. I guess I lost track of time while I was passed out. Been there before, even though it's taking some pressure off of me, which is an absolute dream come true. Is it really fair to pick on the newbie? Seriously? Has anything here ever happened on schedule, even once? Damn it, Donald, if you try to flex that authority gimmick one more time, so help me. I'll snap your head off so quick, and then I'll drown you in his blood, Cynthia. Fuss and Muss are back on. You two know I love to hack, slash, and slice. We all know you love to kill. It's almost all you talk about. Nobody named any names. Who even knows any names? Not us. I renounce my name. Who's Donald? Who's Dwight? Who even knows anymore? Call me nobody. But we still gotta... It changed his name. But we still gotta get started on story time, so... Kyle, who do you think you should go? Ah, damn it, that's a name. Share your story, Spirit. Whoa, this entire experience is being carefully crafted to avoid an IP infringement lawsuit. Let's be careful with catchphrases. Really? You want to hear from me? Spirit huffs and dramatically rolls her eyes as she gets to her feet in front of the campfire. Don't let her talk you out of it. She's great with ghost stories. I don't know where she gets it, but she comes up with the scariest stuff, seriously disturbing, even to me, and I literally pull a guy's skull and spine out once with my bare hands. Talk about bullshit stories. If everyone else is gonna chit-chat, I guess I can just sit down. And Huntress's eyes go red behind her mask, and both Trapper and Wraith take their seat. They know when it's worth fighting and when it's not. Well, I hate to break it to you, but tonight's story isn't scary. It's a romance. Too late now, though. I was selected, and so I'm gonna tell my story. I call it The Prisoner's Kiss. You notice that Huntress and Wraith are both sharing a giant tub of popcorn. Nobody offered you popcorn. It was a dark summer night. Warm rain seeped from the sky like blood from an old wound. Detective Hada, a celebrated investigator and renowned hostage negotiator, was called to the scene of a strange occurrence, unlike anything she had ever seen before. When she arrived, the scene was chaotic. Crowds had begun to gather. A dozen other officers were doing everything they could to keep curious onlookers away, but how could anyone resist wanting to know more? For there, in the middle of a busy market, had appeared a giant box. Strange, alien in its appearance and massive size. No one knew how it got there. Was it delivered? Built on site? In such a busy area, how could something like this just appear? A mystery, as if it was conjured by magic. But this was no illusion. The huge box was very real, and someone was trapped inside. Spirit pauses her story to look from face to face of each audience member. She has no expression, but you feel her vibrating with energy. She's in her element. Help me, cried someone inside the box. It was a man, terrified, trapped, imprisoned. His voice was trembling. By now it was as if every detective was in the city was there. Looking, this strange structure up and down, inspecting it on every side, it didn't make sense. There were no doors, no windows, no fasteners, or seams. It was completely solid, and much too heavy to move by hand. Solid, that is, except for a single, small slit, just enough to see the bloodshot eyes of the prisoner trapped inside. I don't know what happened. I woke up, and here I was. I'm so scared. Please help me, cried the man, as if pleading for his life. No stranger to tense situations, Detective Hada comforted the man. comforted. She used her training to calm him and buy time for the other investigators. However, time did not bring clarity, only anxiety as the night dragged on with no progress opening the box. As the night grew longer, the seeping rain puddling on the ground, the man inside grew more desperate, more sad and lonely, more pathetic and in need of help. But Detective Hata was no help at all. Powerless to save him, guilt begins to weigh on her like it never had before. "Don't let me die in here," the man begged. "Don't let me die alone." "Stay calm," instructed Detective Hata. "You're not alone. I'm here. Hell, half the town is here. We're all in this together, and we won't let this be the end of your story." Looking through that narrowest of passageways, Detective Hata watched her own reflection in the tear-filled eyes of this strange, sad prisoner. Together they both wept in silence in the hopelessness of the moment. "Promise?" asked the man. "Promise that I'm not alone?" Yes, she promised. "I do." Simple pledge. She felt an instant connection like she had never felt before. Not to her family, not to her friends, not to any of the other hostages she had worked so hard to free before. And so, when the man's eyes closed and backed away, it didn't scare Detective Hata, for she knew he would return, and he did, pressing his lips up to the narrow slit in this horrible puzzle box, repeating his question again, steam flowing from his mouth as he asked, "Promise? Promise that I'm not alone?" Yes, she promised. "I do." And pressing her palms against the cold outside of the box without truly knowing why, Detective Hata leaned forward and placed her own lips up to the opening, letting her breath creep into this strange structure, allowing her warm lips to fall onto this man's. It was a gentle kiss, a moment of compassion. She could feel in this brief contact the beating of her heart, pulsing blood through every inch of her body, matched beat for beat in this soft touch. "Thank you," said the man, no trace of fear remaining in his voice, and he backed into the darkness, disappearing in a single moment of eerie calmness. "Get back!" yelled an officer, suddenly thrusting himself between Detective Hata and the box, breaking a silence that would soon be filled by a cacophony of whirring gears and clicking latches, a symphony of mechanical activity happening all at once. Something had triggered, as if an unseen lever pulled and the side of the giant box began to slide open. Detective Hata gripped her flashlight tightly and pushed forward into the foggy interior of the giant box. Her feet splashed in the puddled rainwater, her heart racing as she swept her light from side to side. And that's when her eyes landed on the man, or at least landed on what should have been him. There, in the corner of a box, was a pile of pieces, like parts of a doll, almost pulled apart, or perhaps that's just how Detective Hata had to think of him in that moment to survive. A collection of segments, limbs, pieces, disconnected from one another, cleanly severed and neatly and placed in a neat little pile. And atop that pile, a head, cold, pale, eyes open, lips an icy blue. Spirit stares at the fire, her own expression lifeless, her lips blue. Tears fall from her chin and soak into the sand at her feet. You're blown away at the story, and it's safe to say you're not alone. Everyone else is looking into the fire or up at the sky, anywhere but its spirit. It was you who chose her, you who initiated this harrowing tale. So sad, so creepy, so sensual. She really went into great detail when it came to describing that kiss. Too much detail, and now no one is sure how to act. Dwight and Claudette are staring daggers at you. You have to do something. This game was supposed to be a lighthearted romp. Please, I said do something. Say nothing and hug her. You stand and without saying anything approach Spirit, reaching your arms around her for a hug. Sword through the chest. Her robe, hovering in the air, begins to wrap itself around you and squeeze you into her. It's kind of like being hugged back, but also like being tied up. It's certainly not what you expected. Instinctually, you pull yourself away, but it's an awkward movement and you nearly fall over into the fire. Spirit says nothing and floats away without so much as a goodbye. You, meanwhile, realize everyone had just watched this truly strange interaction from the corner of their eyes. On that note, everyone decides it's time to take a break and split up for a little bit so they can all have a moment alone before bed. Everyone leaves and you're alone by the fire. The only thing you hear is the ocean slowly lapping against the shore. This is nice. A true moment of peace and tranquility that lasts for all 7 seconds because Trickster shows up and he's blaring his latest song. Hey, baby, you look lonely. Mind if I join you? He doesn't wait for an answer. You know, I've been hearing from these guppies all day, but I want to hear from something a big fit. But I want you to hear something from a big fish like me. Something special those in charge of this island don't want you to hear. I am the ultimate catch on this island, the only lobster in an ocean of sardines. No one can give you what I can. You just have to find me. Come find me, baby. Trickster leaves. You're a bit confused about what to make of his cryptic clues, but you aren't going to get any time into thinking about them just yet. Spirit approaches you. You know, I was watching you while I told my story. I could tell it was having an effect on you. What's with the music? This fog that follows me around, I could feel you breathing heavily, taking me in. You and I are both absolutely flabbergasted at that piece of information. Legit, you learn something new every day, even when you're a god. I mean a narrator. You're doing it again, right now. You need to calm down. You should come to the hot tub with me.
Dipping in hot tubs with the spirit, you've come a long way in a single day. I'm not saying you shouldn't follow her. An offer like that. Just don't forget our little talk.
You and your storyteller friends slip into the water. It's just the right temperature for an evening dip. Plus, if some jealous shark comes along and manages to jump into the ocean from the pool, you're pretty sure your killer companion could handle it. I just want to be totally clear, even though that story bore some similarities to my life, it was not about me in any way, shape, or form. Not symbolically, not metaphorically, not any other equally. Hey, so, quick interjection. I decided to look into the lore of whose name is Rin Yamoka. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that is the spirit's real name in Dead by Daylight. And the lore is she got into a fight with her father. And pretty much the fight with her father is what ended up killing her. And then she made a deal with the entity in Dead by Daylight and then became a killer. So the story doesn't match. There was no box involved or anything. So what she says is correct. Equally. I believe you completely. Sure, you were cut into pieces in your life, and so was the person in that story. Perfectly normal coincidence. Sure, you're on this island, trapped one might say, in a most puzzling place. Also a completely regular coincidence. And sure, his lips were blue, your lips are blue. Really? You'd call this blue? Searching for answers, hoping to find revenge. Ah, so the similarities stop there, I guess. Coincidences. Sorry, the coincidences. Take this through your head, whoever you are. Samurai blood runs through my veins, or well, maybe it has coagulated by now. No need to sweat the details. Regardless, I'm a descendant of noble warriors. Thousands of years of training with bladed weapons preceded my entrance to this world. Do you know how many swords that is? A lot. You gotta figure out with that many sharp edges a person is bound to get disconnected from a body part here and there. The truth is, and I wouldn't typically share this, so don't go blabbing about it. I dreamt that story, like watching a movie in my sleep while I was just a little girl. Years before my father sunk his blade into my skin. I've never been able to shake it. It's a very adult story for a child to dream. Do you believe me? Yes? I know we just met, but yes, I do believe you. The way you told that story, it clearly came from someplace deep. Fool! Who taught you to trust a stranger? You're gonna get hurt if you don't learn to take better care of yourself. Now you've got me wondering, do I believe you if you believe her or not? And if I know everything, because trust me, I do know everything, don't I already know the answer to my own question about if I believe your answer to Spirit's question? Whoa. Ocean air got me tripping. Sorry, I didn't mean to distract us both. What's important is that a certain corpsey cutie floating in a cloud of magical mist might still be waiting for you to say the right thing and free her from her puzzle box. If you believe that she is the... Damn it, got me going again. Unfortunately, before you can follow this conundrum to what will surely be a mind-numbing cycle of new questions, you find a certain two someones standing before you with a fresh towel, ready to dry you off. Sorry, kids, but it's time for bed. I might be the youngest one here, but I'm no kid. I do, however, love being wrapped up in a fresh, clean towel. My mother used to help me wash my hair when I was young. She'd comb out all the tangles and tie a ribbon around it before sending me on my way. I miss her. You watch as Spirit stares off into the distance, her hand gripping into a tight fist. She doesn't notice you're watching her at first. When she catches you looking, she turns away. roughly grabs a towel from Dwight and then pushes him and Claudette aside as she floats off. You head over to the campfire. The heat is comforting on this chilly night. Looking into the crackling embers, you think about Spirit's story, about the prisoner in the puzzle box. If you manage to escape this place, will you leave with your life, or has it already been taken from you, and it's just a matter of time until you make a gruesome discovery? Before you can dwell too much on your fate, Claudette and Dwight arrive. Their now familiar creepy smiles stretching from ear to ear. It's a bit menacing to see a smile like that lit by firelight. Uh-oh. We must apologize for the accommodations. We weren't prepared for another guest, but we're gonna make you comfortable or die trying. They hand over a pillow and a blanket and welcome you to snuggle up by the fire. Perhaps some music will put you at ease? Just try and keep the volume to a minimum. Our other guests aren't the types you'll want to rob of their beauty sleep. Oh, another minigame. As you look into the fire to relax, the radio begins to fuzz and flicker. You examine it and decide that you might adjust the dial and fix it. Let's see what's on this station. No. Yep, did that count? There we go. I like that one. No matter how many things you listen to, you still can't sleep. Oh. You decide to ask one of the killers to spend a little more time with you until you're sleepier. Who would you like to summon? I learned that I can't exit yet, so, Spirit. Spirit, are you around? I was wondering if I could get a little company. Spirit tells you her secret for falling asleep when she's feeling restless. I like to listen to flute music, dab on some essential oils, and steam my pores. Really? What? Even the dead like to relax. I don't really have any of those things around. Not a comb. Spirit reaches out and presents you with a unique item. It's a small comb carved from bamboo. I guess you could hold on to this. It was a gift from my mother. I want it back, though. And if you lose it, well, you'll get revenge on me? If it's the last thing I do. You finally start to feel sleepy, except maybe this isn't really a sleepy feeling. Maybe you're paralyzed. You try to keep your eyes open, but you can't. Darkness overtakes you. The voice from earlier speaks to you again. It shouldn't still be as spooky, but now you've had a whole day of strange voices in your head. But this one is still undeniably odd.
Look, I'm not saying that my feelings are hurt because you chose to swim in some pathetic little teacup when you could have swam in the vastness of an entire, me, I guess. I'm just saying that you've made a foolish decision and I won't forget. My feelings aren't hurt. I just lost some respect for you, that's all.
You suddenly awake to see someone looming over you. Huntress is rifling through your pockets. Oh, you're awake. I wasn't stealing from you, merely trying to get to know you better by seeing what sort of trinkets you keep close. I saw you with the Spirit right before bedtime. Look, I'm not saying I don't trust them, but well, yeah, I am saying that. I don't trust anyone who I don't already have tied up, so I was making sure they didn't do anything fishy. And I was making sure you weren't a soldier. Soldiers killed my father, you know. While I've got you, you should really consider spending some more time with me. I'm not scary. You're not? Not at all. I'm just a lost girl on a big island. I've been watching you since you got here, you know. Not in a creepy way. Huntress pauses for a long moment. Alright, in a charmingly creepy way. I noticed how fun-loving you seem. If you spend some time with me tomorrow, maybe I'll take you to the special place I found. It's all mine. None of the other killers have been able to find me there. It's quiet and isolated. Maybe I'll even show you how to make beef stroganoff. That all sounds very enticing. I'll let you get back to bed. It's been a long day. Huntress places a gigantic hand on your forehead and your eyes flutter closed. Finally alone, for real this time. Maybe. You drift off to sleep. Hopefully you're not poisoned. Oh man. Alright, and this is where we're gonna wrap up. I like the funky music though. Everybody, that was the ending. Thank you so much for sticking around and watching until the end. If you like what you see, do me a favor and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. And as always, I will see you next time.